somebody with Hacksaul's like extension. They can boop somebody with Lucio's thing. They can boop somebody like
They can
there's
still isolate someone and still make
right,
them focus on the
right,
target winnable. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And so pretty much this, I bet you this opening from Shock right here will lose them the fight because they had a horrible opening.
Mm-hmm.
Let's watch.
Yep.
Oh,
Dash is talking.
but then again, ultimates are just basically.
Hold on. Dash is talking.
Dash is talking.
Sorry.
Let me unmute. Hey, Dash.
Hi. Okay, so if I'm playing Junkrat, right, or whatever, well, mainly Junkrat, then where do I hold on this map? Because I'm mainly gonna be
You're
poking.
fucking high ground, obviously. Junkrat's DPS love high ground.
We're talking about this sucks if you're 3-3.
Yeah, this
Okay.
sucks specifically because you're 3-3 goats. The only thing that could ever take advantage of high ground is the Zenyatta. But then again, you have counterplay with the D.Va. If say for instance this was a Junkrat composition, and instead of having a D.Va on your team, you would have the Junkrat subbing in, then it would be different because now the Junkrat can easily spam so much damage onto the enemies, and the D.Va was to try and contest the Junkrat. The Junkrat would still kind of get some support from his team. The Junkrat would still be able to rain damage. The Junkrat would be able to trap the D.Va, focus the D.Va down, and then D.Va would lose her mech.
He could easily
wreck.
Yeah, he could just easily like trap the doorway, and if he needs to, he can fall back in there, and the D.Va would either have to go around or just shoot the trap before she can go through, which gives you to escape.
And if you're attacking the point and the other team had the point, like where your team is engaging, you should be on somewhere like, let's say they're going on the right door, you should be spamming in the left door.
Yeah.
Like Crossfire.
Right,
Crossfire,
like, yeah,
exactly.
Crossfire. Yeah.
You want to create a crossfire so that way you create a ton of pressure. And since whenever you play as Junkrat against some sort of against a rank composition, it's always nice to create a crossfire with your team, especially if you're like the flanking Junkrat, because you can get so much fucking kills with Junkrat by just using crossfire and left click spamming down chooks from one way and the other. It just hurts
And
the enemy
you
so
can
much.
displace by throwing your mine in there.
Yeah, you can even displace and isolate people with your mines too, and that's like really good. Like, say for instance, you were to like basically boop the enemy, you're to like boop 3 enemies away, but then one is like still forward. You can easily tell people, focus that target, focus this guy,
Right.
and shit. And then they would focus them, and then the enemy team's like, oh no, we have to save our man, and then he dies too quickly before they can save their man. That's pretty much how it kind of goes. That's kind of like the options of Junkrat. Did that kind of help you understand, Dash?
Okay.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Did that help?
I'm gonna
is your
smack
brain-
you.
Is your brain okay?
No, but yes.
Okay, that's good.
Scary. Yes, but no.
Seriously though, did you get what we were saying with about
Yeah,
the crossfire? Yeah.
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 So see, I told you guys, I predicted it, and I was right. I didn't exactly predict it. I calculated it. I calculated the fact that Shock. I told you that Shock's position was shit because this high ground, you can't do anything with this high ground if you ever try to do anything. So now she tried to go for an ultimate. However, Vancouver Titans obviously counter ulted, and then they just won because because Vancouver Titans were isolating the Shock, and the Shock had to like save their friends instead of playing aggressive. And the Titans actually took advantage of the Shock in the forced situation, because the Shock was forced to save Sinatra and stuff. And Titans just immediately punished that by just focusing Sinatra down first as fast as they could, and then getting to the next person, and just doing tons of damage to the enemy, counter-grabbing, and just, like, fucking destroying. That's why it was so good. So, now what I expect the Shock to do is to not go up high ground, because high ground fucking sucks in this situation. Unless they had a Junkrat, then it would be great. Again, they go for the high ground. What is Shock doing here? So, now we will see how Shock plays this horrible high ground. Of course, I said this was horrible, but you know what's funny sometimes? No matter how right I might be, there's going to be someone out there to prove me wrong. I bet you the Shock
There's
might
always
prove me wrong right now.
outliers.
There's
Right.
always those outliers. Yes, exactly.
Right, someone could be literally playing like a potato. So I mean,
Okay, so the reason why this high ground, what just happened, this fight is immediately equal. The reason why is because Shock actually pulled off the most fucking craziest rotation ever. They literally rotated like as if they were one unit. Watch this
Yeah.
again.
And they baited them.
Yes, watch this again. They're all on high ground now, and then watch as this plays through. They all move at the same time. It wasn't even one person. It was literally the entire 6.
Yep.
And now
the one that's in the back is Lucio, so he's speed boosting everybody.
Pretty much, yeah. And Lucio doesn't even have to worry too much about getting focused because Lucio's Lucio. He's hard to kill.
Correct.
And now it's an equal position, but now but actually advantageous towards the San Francisco Shock because San Fran has Tranquility.
Slime just popped the South Barrier?
Yeah, Slime popped the Sound Barrier to counter the Tranquility because usually...
And they pop Rally.
Yeah, it's called counter-ulting. You would pop... If they use trans on you aggressively to get a pick, like, you can use trans aggressively to get picks.
Yeah.
So what Slime decided to do over here is he decided to use his Sound Barrier to prevent that option of getting picks with trans.
Yeah, trying to cancel out the healing, essentially.
Okay, when they use Rally and Shield, or Rally and Beat, does the Beat go into effect and they get the shield, or like the armor underneath?
Yeah, they get the armor underneath barrier. They get the armor underneath barrier.
So while they're pushing at the barrier, they're gaining shield.
Yes.
Yeah. You see how look at Lucio, or Zenyatta. You see how he has blue, yellow, and then white.
Especially Lucio, because you can tell he's gotten an armor increasement buff because of the sound barrier. Because he originally had a sound barrier on him. However, he still has his armor. If his armor was ahead, he wouldn't have had his armor, and he would have still had probably a bit more sound barrier.
Yeah.
At this exact moment. And so right now we are basically still in the phase 1. This is a posturing fit. This is like, like I said, the phase 1. People are trying to set up. They're trying to create advantage. So right now we're actually right now this is the type of phase 1 where you're in the posturing phase and you have not really any sort of advantage or any sort of win condition to execute. So right now you guys are just trying to set up for some sort of advantage so you guys can create a win condition.
Wait, did they also use Beat and Beat and Rally to get Reinsold, or was that just a result of just them bashing up against each other?
That was just a result of them bashing up against each other.
Oh, okay.
So, another thing over here is that, So another thing over here is that Vancouver Titans, I think, tried to create some sort of advantage. I think this is too much of a forced ult by Sominsu because Sominsu kind of grabbed too early here. If he maybe grabbed a little bit later and then tried to draw some sound barrier out, then it would have probably been good. But the fact that he tried to grab this early, it wasn't that good for the Vancouver Titans because his team is not really in a posturing isn't really in a good position to where they can easily focus people in grab. If they manage to pull it off, though, this would actually be so good by the Titans. Yeah.
Pinned Ryan, and then the rest is history?
Yeah, so, the Shock...
Or no, he pinned Rascal.
Yeah, he pinned Rascal. So Bumper goes in for a sacrificial charge here, trying to get a pick and also extra damage onto the team because he knows that if he can just get maybe one sort of extra pick, then that'll be good for his team.
Hold on, can we talk about how Stumin Su is already at 31% on his graph?
That's because he's good. He right-clicks, he constantly does damage.
And I assume he's high energy, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be over 60 if he
my
dies.
Lord.
Yeah,
Halfway to grab already.
Yeah.
Yeah, halfway to grab.
And
This is what usually happens whenever you're playing as Zarya. If you're tracking as good as Zarya, remember, you can shoot 90% of the time. So if you're hitting like 90% of your shots, maybe 95%, you will get your grab quite quickly, as you can tell.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If you watch Sinatra more, I've been trying to do what he does more. Like, he just will left click a lot.
Exactly.
So he just will burn the shield down, and as soon as the shield's down, like, it's free damage, and like if you have high energy, it builds your ult so fast.
Pretty sure, like, high energy, like, the best combo for Zarya is, like, see her right click, burn 5, left click.
Her, but, like, not a lot of people just spam the right click, like, way too much, and, like, I get what you're doing, but, like, that left click melts people.
So actually, there's this interesting burst combo that you can do with Zarya. There's this interesting burst tech combo where you would basically left click, right click, left click, right click, left click, right click with Zarya to basically increase her DPS, because Zarya does 150 damage at 100 energy, and her direct hit on her right clicks does, I think, like around something 100 damage or maybe like 95, and the splash does just as much too. And so basically, whenever you kind of like left click for 1 second, you do 150. You do like around 150 damage, and then when you right click, you immediately burst out with like a left click. So you kind of like increase the DPS just slightly. So instead of being 150 damage per second, you're like 100, maybe 75 damage per second.
And then the ammo cost for the right clicks is 25, but if you're under 25, it doesn't take away from how much it is.
Yeah, it doesn't really. It doesn't even matter that much if you're like just. It doesn't even matter about the damage over time. People would use this technique if they know they can kill someone fast in that time window. Zarya's would usually utilize this technique on somebody if they could just wipe them. Zarya's would utilize this technique on somebody if they know they can wipe them out within that small second, but they know that the left click won't be fast enough. So they right click, left click combo the enemy so they can kill them faster and get that pick. That's where Zarya's utilize that technique. So again, we are into like the third phase of the fight. So yeah, kind of a weird grab from Sominsu, too forced in my opinion. And now Vancouver Titans compared to San Francisco Shock are in disadvantage because Sinatraa and Rascal have their ultimates. Huxel and Sominsu are still trying to come up on their ultis. Twilight is behind on Violet, Moth.
No, but they're at 92%.
Yeah, then 8 seconds left.
And yes, they are at 92%, which means like now the Vancouver Titans need to somehow touch point. Janu sacrifices his mech, and then Sinatraa just like grabs people because he
knows there's no Diva Matrix.
Yeah, no Diva Matrix, so he's just like, oh hey, no Diva? Let me just press Q. Okay, kill these people in the grab, and then Shock kills people in the grab, and then they win the fight. Easy clappers.
Yeah.
And then Slime's like, no, I don't want to die. I will live a coward. So yeah, that's pretty much first match. Now we'll be going into second match, which is again we're gonna be going through the same. We're gonna talk about the same thing again. First phase, second phase, third phase. How does Vancouver Titans set up the first phase? How does San Fran set up the first phase? Which one is better? And then how will this breaking point kind of go on? So, fucking Reinhardt, I like this opening. Look at that. It hasn't even been like, it's only been like 4 seconds, and these Reinhardts were like already over here. That's fucking crazy. I can't even do that, actually. This is the reason why these guys are like top 500 Overwatch League players. So, immediately, mirror, opening compositions, and, openings and compositions. And so let's see how this kind of like, let's see where the difference kind of goes over here. So immediately Vancouver Titans tries to gain some sort of advantage by pressuring Super a lot. And they actually do force out Super to hold his shield for a little bit. And then Super's like, oh shit, fuck. And then Choi Hyobin ends up getting stunned. I think, did Huxel actually call out the Diva? I'm not sure. Maybe, I wonder if the stun onto Diva was an individual independent play from Huxel, or if it was a team play. I see Bumper trying to go for the Diva, so it might have been some sort of team play that.
I think.
Titans just
who is Suminsu killing? I think he's killing Diva, right? Or is he going for Super?
I think he's Ryan. Diva's is coast side. He's like on the edge there.
Well, I'm saying I see. So Diva. Zarya is in the middle of the barrier right there.
Sominsu, Slime, and Huxel are right over here. Bumper's over here.
And you see,
over here.
Yeah, but you see Suminsu's beam. Who's his beam on? Is what I'm saying.
Sinatraa or Ryan.
It's on these guys in the back over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can see some
best camera angle because it kind of like doesn't give us the exact information we need at this moment. But we can kind of tell from hindsight that the Shock are obviously being pressured. Diva got stunned and got pressured back, and now Vancouver Titans has won some space away. So now, if the Vancouver Titans can just kind of hold this space, they'll cap point, and or either they'll force out some sort of aggression from Shock at that breaking point, and that'll like and that will kind of like give Shock a disadvantage in terms of health. So actually, Vancouver Titans is most likely going to win this fight here because
I'm gonna call what happens, and I'm not 100% sure. Bumper is gonna shatter Super as soon as they get the point, or while it's about to tick for them, and then Shock tries to contest last second.
More like they're gonna focus Super or Choi Hyobin as soon as either of those two try to go extremely aggressive to try and contest point. Because Shock need to play very aggressive now to contest point, and because Vancouver Titans already won the space that is point, and so now Vancouver Titans will play counteractive. So what I'm gonna see from right here is that, yep, we're about to see some sort of aggression play from the Shock, and then never mind. Never mind, the Titans don't play too aggressively. Oh, wait, no, they do? Yeah, they do. So it's like this... Oh, wait.
Oh my gosh, dude. Bumper just got melted,
okay, so
bro.
I predicted that Vancouver Titans would have just been able to completely destroy the Shock in this situation. However, Shock just become fucking Shock and just destroy the fuck out of Bumper and Jejanu.
Yes, I'm going to tell you, Sumin Su's way too far back. That's what it was.
Yeah,
he wasn't...
he
didn't eat any of that Bumper damage.
Vancouver Titans backed off too much there. I think, so in my opinion, what I feel happened in this situation was that Somin Su and Bumper actually gave up control of this high ground over here, and that allowed, and because like they instead of them playing on the point over here, they couldn't easily engage Sinatra, so engaging Sinatra would have been a difficult situation to do. And so Sinatra being able to gain this high ground kind of for free from the Vancouver Titans just kind of gave the Vancouver Titans a disadvantage, and then San Francisco Shock just immediately like capitalized on it, and then they just like pushed and won the fight off of just focusing Bumper for trying to play too aggressively. Because you know, like how I said Shock were like basically Vancouver Titans were going to punish Shock for playing too aggressive just to contest point. Well, now it kind of turned the other way around. Now Vancouver Titans needed to play aggressive, and then the Shock punished them for that play. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like they were trying to take the conservative approach and then decided to go aggressive.
They switched approaches mid-fight, and I'm just like, no, that's bad.
Yeah.
And so Shock gained the first point. So now we were...
Sinatra has Grav. Holy fuck.
I know, right? Oh, God. I used to hate Sinatra. I still kind of do. But God, is this guy good at Zarya.
He's good at Zarya.
Oh, my God. Violet gets a fucking kill onto Twilight. Lolers.
That's a lol.
So what exactly happened in that first fight that caused Bumper to... die like so quickly? Was it just like
Sumin Su didn't take any of that? Yeah, Sumin Su didn't take any of that damage.
Actually. So let's kind of go.
Did
back
he use
to
his barrier on somebody else, or like what was?
Like,
let me talk to you. Let me
go ahead.
Quick. It's a very small minor mistake, but this is what happened. The Vancouver Titans originally had control of the point. However, the Vancouver Titans gave up control of this high ground over here. Sinatra capitalized it and played on this high ground, and that kind of forced aggression out from both Bumper and Jejanu. So and then what happens is that Shockwing just decided to punish Bumper and Jejanu for playing too aggressive, and then they end up killing those two out, immediately winning the fight.
Right. So like if you're still on the point there, right? And that's the approach you want to take. You kind of got to back up and let them try and jump on the point. So and then you catch them mid rotation while they're separated.
Pretty much.
Like. Or you don't go in the pit and you engage out of the pit, where there's no high ground advantage.
They could have invested more resources. The Vancouver Titans should have tried to invest more resources onto this high ground here.
Yeah, or into Bumper.
Couldn't they have taken the fight first?
The Titans? No, they don't. The Vancouver Titans don't want to take the fight first because then they've already captured point. They want to just basically hold the point and then force aggression out of Shock to play aggressive, and then the Vancouver Titans will punish the Shock for playing over aggressive, even though that's the best option that San Francisco Shock has. But Vancouver Titans gave up this position right over here, and the Vancouver Titans, like I said, gave up this position, and because this position was gave up, Bumper and Jay John was like, oh no, we need to play aggressive to gain some sort of advantage. And then Shock was just like, huh, you're doing... And then Shock laughed and just basically was like, haha, that's so stupid. You guys are going to die now because then you play too aggressive. And then they just die.
Gotcha.
Like, watch as it plays out here. See? Sinatra takes advantage of this high ground, and then Bumper and Jay John are like, oh shit, he's got the high ground. We need to play aggressive. And then so Bumper plays super fucking
So,
aggressive.
wait, the bubble just... Or was... No, that was his own bubble. Okay. That was personal.
Yeah.
Never mind.
And so Bumper plays super aggressive here and gets completely battered down in focus. And see, that's how it wanted him to play. Because Bumper wanted to play very aggressive there, however, he died for it. Even though he didn't want to play, he didn't even probably wanted to play that aggressive, he just wanted to win the fight. It's just that they gave up the high ground position and they had to play aggressive and they ended up losing that fight because of it.
Right. They they essentially half-assed their approach because
Well,
they
not
changed
essentially
plans.
half-assed, more like...
They just
80%
changed.
ass. More like 80%, maybe, or not. Is ass the shitty part or the good part?
That's the bad part.
Okay, so more like the 20% assed it. Does that make sense?
Oh wait, no,
They
that's
were
a
good
good
on
part. I don't
the
know,
Vancouver Titans. Oh, okay, whatever. So basically, they were 80%. They were 80% doing good. However, that 20% of them doing bad, that Shock capitalized on it.
Yes, because they were at 100% of their resources and their positioning.
And so now Vancouver Titans. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember this. Finally gets a nice right click onto Twilight, and then now they have to reset. So now pretty much this went from phase 1 immediately into phase 3 because it didn't even reach breaking point. The team already just got an extra pick. Like that was just funny. So instead of going through phase 1 where teams set up, and then phase 2 to create the breaking point, and then
They're
phase
just
3 to, like,
wasting
push everything
time.
to win. Yeah, Violet just decides instead of going through all these phases, I'm just gonna right click Twilight, get some ult charge, and gain some time advantage for us, and we've already won a fight. Bam. And
Yep.
now the Shock is just like, okay.
And then San Francisco's gonna just go into this fight with 6 ults.
Pretty much. So, Vancouver decided to open up a standard opening over here. They're right now just, like I said, they're in the first phase of the fight. They're trying to gain some sort of advantage. Let's see how the Vancouver Titans play this. The Vancouver Titans basically create a flank. So, Vancouver Titans, what they decided to do is they decided to create a pincer attack against Super and Choi Hyobin here. So Sominsu goes on the flank over here to flank Choi Hyobin on this side, and the entirety of the Titans just try to focus the fuck out of Super just to like pressure Super back. Because if they can push out some sort of like defensive move from Super, then while Super is playing defensive, then they'll push aggro onto somebody else.
The D.Va just used her boosters, so I'm pretty sure she's going to get focused down like
Exactly.
immediately.
And she's gonna and Super.
Yeah,
can't do
you see,
anything about it.
like Suminsu like changing targets right now.
Yeah,
He's
like
like,
immediately.
yeah.
It's like,
Someone was like, yeah.
He's like, give me my grav.
Everybody, you can tell Bumper is looking at Choi. Twilight immediately is looking at Choi. Slime's like kind of looking at Choi. Taxel's like,
Super
you can
has
see
no
him-
clue.
You can see him, you can see Huxel turning his camera to look at Choi. You can see like, oh, the target focus is going to be real here because Choi used his boosters. And the thing,
Pretty sure he did at least.
and this was so good by Vancouver Titans because they forced a defensive move from Super, and Sominsu forced out boosters from Choi, and the Shock just like didn't react to this well, and so the Shock just basically kind of crumbled from this. The Shock just kind of like blundered from this pressure, and then next thing you know, Choi is gonna get focused down.
Yeah, I'm really
Rascal-
confused why
Rascal-
Moth is on the left side and not trying to boost his team out of that.
Oh,
but-
Choi was using boosters. I thought he already used.
Oh,
boosters. Never
okay.
mind.
I
So,
thought I saw him use it, but
Yeah, it's
I
okay.
thought it ended already.
Yeah, so never mind. I was completely wrong. Vancouver Titans just forced a booster and Choi Hyobin to play passive, and also forced Super to play defensively. Then San Francisco decided to grab this fight.
They grab Super?
They no,
Oh,
not
no, Titans did.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Shock
sorry.
needs to. Yeah, the Titans get grabbed. Shock grabs Titans. And Super lands a charge onto Huxel because whenever you're playing as Reinhardt and whenever you're playing as Reinhardt against anybody, whenever you're playing as Reinhardt with his Zarya, you basically charge whoever's in the grab, because they're staying still and they can't do anything about it, and you just like.
Well, after you swing into it.
Yeah, you can like swing into it. You can do the swing fire strike combo and then charge to like just get that nice.
Don't just charge in there. But then, if you're playing goats, then you want to charge the Reinhardt, so there's no shield.
Or you can charge the Brigitte if you have no good follow up.
Okay, so Super's dead. Bumper's pushed way far up.
So Bumper's dead.
So even fight now.
Titans can't win this fight because Brigette's the only burst healing in this comp.
And not only while they did kill the main tank, San Francisco shot got more value out of killing Hawksoul than Titans got value out of killing Super, because Vancouver Titans, if they lose any one of their healers, their healing amount drops so fucking low.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they're both running the same comp, so wouldn't it be the same either way?
Yeah, but I feel like you can somewhat lose your Lucio and be way better off than losing your Brigitte. If you lose your Brigitte, that's all your burst.
You're right.
Lucio, you also lose that more. Lucio and Brigitte are kind of like the stable foundations that keep this team up, because right now in this situation right here, the reason why San Francisco won against the Vancouver Titans in this fight, because they killed Brigitte, is because the San Francisco Shock had more sustain. So the San Francisco Shock having more sustain allowed them to play aggressive more often and allowed them to re-engage more quicker than the Vancouver Titans could have re-stabilized. And the Vancouver Titans couldn't re-stabilize because of the amount of like quick aggression from the Shock, just constantly just beating at them until the Titans just crumbled and died and retreated.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is Moth taxing right now?
Yeah,
probably.
He's got to be, right?
Okay, didn't.
Oh, and
there he is.
He's just playing in the back.
You saw him fall through the. Yeah.
Right now.
Why do they play so close to that high ground there? Like, I feel like.
This high ground. You mean this high ground right over here?
Yeah.
Because
he plays like right underneath of it.
This high ground is so good for Vancouver Titans. If they give up this high ground, Somin Su can get himself such a nice position. He can left click anybody who's in this area over here, and he can also.
I know, but why does he play under it? Like he can't contest it as a Reinhardt from the bottom there.
I said Somin Su, not Bumper.
No, I'm talking about Super.
Oh,
why is Super playing under the high ground there?
He had to drop. He was getting too much pressure.
Oh, okay. I thought he just was playing there.
Yeah, he's not just playing there. He's playing there because he didn't want to get killed. The Vancouver Titans were really trying to take advantage.
I'm assuming their idea was if they went to the high ground, Choi Yo-bin was going to eat whatever he could, and then if he could, like, try and boop somebody off the high ground. Mm-hmm. Because he was playing like across to the left. So, like, he was in perfect sight to just, like, diva boost, like, straight into them, and then boop someone off, and then be able to still retreat to his team in that. You know what I mean?
And Twilight is playing aggressive because he has...
Twilight playing aggressive because he's Twilight. He's the Vancouver Titans Zenyatta player.
He's
gonna be like, I'm gonna fucking play so aggressive, right-click you motherfucker, and I'm going to get away with it, because my team will back me up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because his tanks play aggressive as fuck, no one's going to try and go for their Zenyatta.
For like a split second, he was like all by himself, and I'm like, is he there because he has trans?
That's his bailout.
It's not even trans. It's not even trans, because he knows Hawksoul can like easily use pack onto Twilight, and so Twilight doesn't even have to even worry about like dying. Even if the deal was like push onto her,
but you got to save your pack for your Reinhardt, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I was just about to get into Lucio. Lucio could even boop the diva back, amp heal the Zenyatta, or just speed the Zenyatta away, and Zenyatta could just keep shooting, and then Choi Hyobin is just gonna be like in an awkward position, whereas Slime and Twilight will have rotated to a better position where they're now more safer and can kind of re-engage, whereas like Choi Hyobin is just like off to the side, kind of doing nothing.
Yeah. Because he's gonna, Twilight's going to have to reload eventually, so it's not like he can just sit there.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So right now we're still kind of in the first phase of the fight. However, we're getting very close to the second phase of the fight, which is the breaking point. And the breaking point is basically now the second phase is now initiated by Sinatra. Now Sinatra is basically Sinatra initiates Grav. Vancouver Titans get a pick onto get Choi Hyobin really low and get a pick onto it. Now this is the breaking point. Now we have reached a position to where Choi Hyobin has no mech, but the Vancouver Titans are Grav, but they also have Trans. So it's just now kind of like how these guys react to it. So
Trans is popped, Grav is popped, Rally's popped.
Yep. And
Shock
so now,
pops their Trans.
Yeah, what Vancouver Titans are right now doing is what Vancouver Titans compared to Shock are doing is that Shock is playing to win this one fight. Because if Shock can win this fight, they win everything. So they'll probably use every single ultimate they have to try and win this fight. However, Vancouver Titans...
I think it's almost like a fight to who gets their beat first, right? Because Slime's at 53 and then Moth's at 62.
Nah, I don't think it's that kind of fight because that's way too slow of a tactic. There's way too many other win conditions that San Francisco and Vancouver Titans could easily go for instead of an extremely slow option like Slime's sound barrier and Moth's sound barrier.
I mean, I'm not saying they're playing for that. I think that's just what decides it.
I mean, it's an option if that's what you're saying. Like, yeah, that's an option in the future to consider. And yes, the Vancouver and Shock have like both considered those choices. Right now, they're just worried about their current choices, which is the Grav.
Just win forehead.
Just fucking win forehead, and then they just kill things. Because
and then Moth dies. So no, Slime dies.
Yikes,
Nope.
dude. Oh. Yikes, dude.
Yikes, dude. That's a pog.
Pogaroos.
Now, who was it that popped Trans first?
I'm guessing.
Violet. I think.
Violet did? Okay.
No, it was Twilight. Twilight reacted to Grav, and Violet reacted to Twilight.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So now we're entering another phase of the fight where basically Vancouver... So now we're going to be paying attention to Vancouver Titans. How does Vancouver Titans play this? I don't really pay attention a lot to Vancouver Titans. I just like their team. I will pay attention to both the Titans' blunders and their plays. I like how I'm not really giving much attention to Shock right now. I'm not interested in Shock. I like Titans better. So Titans go for an extremely aggressive push because Twilight ended up getting Discord onto Super because he saw Super was playing out a little bit more, and then Super just kind of gets focused down because the Titans were just like, hey, focus on Super, even though Super is like not even that a good target to focus. The Vancouver Titans were like, still, just focus Super, just fucking focus him, and then the Titans just all agree like, yes, and then they just killed like then they just killed Super just because they agreed to it and they just wanted to.
Why isn't Super a good target there?
I mean, because Super could have easily gotten peeled from his team. However, what happened, I think, is that Super played a little bit too isolated and aggressive from his team.
That's why I think that's a good call. They know their opponent.
Yeah, they know their opponent, but whatchamacallit, I think, like, if I was to go back over here, I thought what happened over here was that Titans just focused Super just because they wanted to.
I feel that's because that's